for the jury?
This is an episode.
Everybody on the top got the same sound. Everything I'm about to drop, make a name now. Yeah, y'all don't really know, y'all don't really know. Y'all don't really know, y'all don't really know. Yeah, I ain't never gonna be the same now. I'ma tear up this whole fucking game now. Yeah, y'all don't really know, y'all don't really know. Y'all don't really know, y'all don't really know. I got so many bars, call it kamikaze. Ain't nobody ever gonna ever stop me. And I know that I could be a little cocky. That's the byproduct of hard work, no it's not free. I'm at a top speed, I think you lost me. Do not cross me, I keep dropping all these hits and I know that they watching. They keep showing up in my place, always knocking. Knock, knock, bitch, I've been standing right here. Been over 3 years and then you just got here. Man, get me a beer and open up the mirrors. Let me show you now what you've been missing for years. Call it premiere, I can take a boy's name and smear, or take it up a gear and end your career and make you feel fear, or make you disappear. Cause I am right here and not going nowhere. Everybody on the top got the same sound. Everything I'm about to drop, make a name now. Yeah, y'all don't really know, y'all don't really know. Y'all don't really know, y'all don't really know. Yeah, I ain't never gonna be the same now. I'ma tear up this whole fucking game now. Yeah, y'all don't really know, y'all don't really know. Y'all don't really know, y'all don't really know.
I love money.
I love money. The winner of DH1's I Love Money will receive a complimentary winner's post on the official Facebook page, a coveted spot in the DH1 Hall of Fame, and a cash prize of up to $100,000. Results may vary. I love money. May the best orger win.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to I Love Money Camp Catastrophe. Previously on I Love Money, the final five went into their final two Paymaster competitions. If they didn't win, their asses were going into the box. It was a pivotal competition where ultimately Kiana won her first Paymaster challenge of the season, finally ended her losing streak. In a gag, Kiana got to pick all three of the nominations, and she blindsided Aaron by voting her into the bottom, saving Sheed from going into the box, and eliminating Aaron, the final coach, and the previous winner. That left us with our final four of all new players, where it seemed like all hope was lost for Crystal now that her friend was gone. But Crystal ended up winning the final Paymaster challenge of the season, her third. She then had a choice to make. Did she want to get vengeance and vote out the person that just betrayed her? Or did she want to take out Sheed, someone who she had expressed interest in voting out prior to that? Ultimately, she decided to keep Kiana and Sheed and bring them to the final three and vote Lydia out of the game. And now we have our final three. We have Crystal, the girl who has said from day one she is here to troll. Kiana, the girl that was underestimated and called inactive, but then came back with a vengeance. And then we have Sheed, the silent but deadly killer. Who will win? We'll find out on Sunday. But before we do that, I've brought back the 9 previously eliminated players that have formed our jury. We have juror number 1, eliminated on Mafia Night. It's Ganjo. Juror number 2, I believe she's working right now, but she volunteered herself for the box and then got sent home on backwards night, Tiana. We have the competition beast of the season, who was eliminated under an invisible Paymaster, Deasia. We have the coach himself from season 3 that came back and ended up getting his both of his final players eliminated on the final night, Isaiah. We have Shamrock, who was voted out on the double elimination, redeemed himself from his previous season. We have Squid, aka Tiffany, who gave us a little Masked Singer moment during her double elimination. We have Juan, the guy that was criticized for playing both sides, but was a competition beast in his own right. We have the only former winner here, Aaron, who was taken out because of some damn tape. And then we have our most previous eliminated contestant. She played a whole bunch of powers and balled on Coco coins. It's Lydia. So tonight, the 9 jurors will be debating the merit of the final 3 contestants. They'll decide who they think most deserves to win in the event they are in the final two. Now, as a reminder, last live, the final three decided that they wanted to end this game with a jury vote. What that means is on Sunday, the three of them will compete in one final competition where the top two will advance to the final two. The person that does not finish the challenge or finishes last will become the 10th and final member of the jury. The person that finishes the challenge first will then be able to eliminate one person from the jury after the jury casts their vote. The jury will then get to question the final two on finale night and decide who they want to win, where each of them will cast their votes for who they want to be the winner of I Love Money 11. So, who are they rooting for? Are they surprised by this final three? Let's find out. So, hi everyone. I will be the jury roundtable moderator for this season. I've hosted many seasons of I Love Money 11 to be exact, and I don't think I've ever seen a final three like this before. It's a very odd group that made it to the end of this season. So I wanted to ask you guys what your opinions are on this final three, and anyone can jump in. What do you think of this group as a whole that made it to the end?
I think it's random as fuck.
Yo, I thought Heather was in here, bro. Yo, Shamrock's crazy.
No, I personally feel like this final three is a final three that meant to be for this season. This season was very chaotic and very all over the place. And a lot of the big threats were getting taken out back to back to back. So it's only fitting that people who had a lower threat level is in the game. I think the only person who had a kind of a high threat level was Crystal, but that got alleviated weeks ago. So this is most definitely a personification of what this season was, basically.
Yeah. Now I definitely think it definitely came down to who was willing to win comps at the right time, who was willing to stay out the mix when they needed to keep their nose out of it. And honestly, I feel like all three of them had at least one person who they were aligned with that was easily a bigger threat than them. So it's almost like unintentional shield strategy. Like Kiana had Lydia, Sheed had like Wine, Crystal had Aaron, and unfortunately those people in front of them got out before them. So it's interesting.
I also find it interesting that Crystal has been winning these paymasters last second, like coming out of nowhere, and she's literally just here to fuck around and find out, kind of. And she's still in the game. I think it's the funniest shit. Like, Kiana's trying and she's really trying. Crystal's just like, bro, I'm just here. Yeah, I don't know how I'm still here.
I feel like you can say that about everyone though. Like Kiana was kind of MIA in the beginning. She'd was checked out a few times. Crystal was checked out a few times. They all have a reason as to why they're kind of in the spot and look back and be like, what the fuck? And it's all three of them have that. So I think it's kind of funny, all three.
It is. That's why it's so funny, because like you said, they literally were checked out in the beginning, and now they're just like, oh, we're just here. Everyone else is trying hard.
I forgot what school with our head looked like.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I was also gonna say that I feel like it's definitely I feel like everyone just didn't take them as seriously as we should have. You know what I'm saying? So eventually they were able to slip through the cracks, and they're there and we're not, So I mean, you can't call it bad gameplay. I mean, that's definitely on everybody. I think everyone else here got themselves eliminated. If I'm gonna be honest, I haven't seen a jury like this get each other to get themselves eliminated like this in a while, but here we are.
No, I don't think that any of the three play a bad game. I just think the climate was lay low if you can, and then some of us just couldn't lay low. So it was just like, when you can't lay low and people are just taking shots left and right, the people who are, under the radar are most definitely always going to be in a better position. I mean, I could kind of see what was going to happen because of that.
Wait, am I on mute or can you guys hear me?
No, we can hear you, girl.
Okay. The reason I kind of respect Crystal and Kiana's game just a teens more than Sheets is only because those two did not lay low. They open their mouth. They talk a lot of shit, both of them. And they're still both there. So it's kind of like, damn, it doesn't really fucking matter. Talk your shit, troll if you want to. It really just depends on who you got in the game, I guess.
I wouldn't say that she laid low because he said everything that he thought. It was just the point of like he said that once and that was it. So we knew how he felt from the beginning, and after that, no one really.
Well, he was barely in the Coco Cabin chat, but
true.
He showed up when it counted. Period.
What I will say that I don't think anyone can't say about the final three is I think all three of them at one point or another have like actively pushed names out during vault ceremonies. I just don't think any of the three of them have actually controlled one. But I don't think there's ever been a moment that Kiana hasn't pushed her a narrative. I don't think there's been a moment that Sheed hasn't. Neither has Krista. I think all three of them have been vocal. I will say, and I'm curious what's everyone's thoughts on this. I do take in consideration that out of the three of them, two of them at one point or another have been like, oh, just take me as tribute. You guys can vote me out. Because Crystal did that for Aaron, and then I remember she did that like twice. One for Deej, and I forget what the other one was for. I don't remember who the second one's for, but I don't know how I feel about that. Shamrock, how do you guys feel about that?
That's a toughie. I don't know. I honestly think it was just part of their like plan in a way to look like, oh, we'll give it up. We'll give it all up right now. See how great we are. And like, no, that's for the game, but not in a bad way.
Like, do we think it's strategy or do we think it's just them like, fuck it, just take me out?
I think it was a mixture of both, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think it's more so like even if it wasn't strategy, it still speaks to their character and gameplay that each of them were willing to like sacrifice themselves because it was a bigger purpose, which I feel like that alone still needs to be respected because everybody doesn't do that. Like they could just be like, oh, my road dog leaving, I'm out too. But they said it in a way where it was kind of like, ain't nobody really gonna do it. So it worked in their favor.
Personally, unbiasedly, I personally just don't resonate with the people who try to sacrifice themselves, especially because it's just like you're here to play, you're showing up, like clearly you want to be here. So like someone like Kiana, she was in the box how many times? And she never once still was just like, honestly, fuck it, y'all, just vote me out. Like, you know what I mean? She tried like to the very last of her ability and she's still here. So I don't know. I feel like it would have been, who knows if some of us still would have been there if we actually took the sacrificial lambs and we're like, okay, bye. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Ooh, yeah.
I feel like as a counterpart to that, I completely agree with what you're saying as well. But I was thinking too, like, I had a really good point. I'm a little high. I was just basically like, even though it looks bad, it's like kind of not because everyone has different situations, right? So she was already saying he working a lot. Crystal just here to F around. So like it's kind of pretty on brand for those two to be the ones that like, okay, just take me, because Crystal doesn't really care and she genuinely is busy. So I feel like I completely see what you're saying, but it also is kind of like cases. It depends on the person.
Yeah.
I will
let me
say too, though, really fast, is that maybe I'm a little biased, but anytime someone actually took their, like, people they were working with out, Crystal was the only one able to, like, win the next one right after for Squid and for me. Like, those were her two allies, and she got out the people that got them out. So, like, Crystal kind of, like, put her money where her mouth was, in a way.
Crystal, she's a force to be reckoned with, bro. She's scary. She's scary.
Like, Crystal, why didn't you save Squid if you're so mad? Like...
I mean, to that point, Aaron, I will say you did save Kiana over me, and Kiana took you out. So
I know I should have brought that up, but I was like, GG's, and I was already in the box.
I mean, no. When I tell you, Aaron, we talk after this, you went crazy. Like they should have took you out because you were the clear winner, right? If you would have got to the end, you would have won. So I just feel like taking a big shot like that should be a point in Kiana's favor, if that makes sense. She kind of wasn't like leaning towards you saving her earlier on to like, keep her in the game for the next round. So like, she took that shot for a risk and it, helped her get to the end, even though she took you out type shit.
Well, I wanted to ask, it seemed like throughout a majority of the season, the running theme was who wants to be here, who's putting in effort, who is showing up. And it seems like the final three that we ended up are all people that were criticized at one point or another of, I guess for Crystal, of do you actually want to play? Do you actually want to win? Sheed for his volunteering and for Kiana for not showing up. So how much of that weighs into your guys' decision as jurors for the people that do make it to the final two?
I will say for me, it's really situational. I think if we're going to go off of attendance, like, yeah, Crystal definitely showed up the most. I think Kiana showed up outside like the early ones. She showed up to everything as well. She just didn't talk to as many people within the game. She talked to like me and Lydia. I think, I don't know if she talked to anyone else. I think Aaron and Crystal towards the end, Aaron Ganjo. And then she, I feel like she wasn't the type to talk to people, but if you come to him, he'll definitely speak to you. I've reached out to him all the time. He was very active. So I feel like all three of them honestly were like active at just different times of the game. But I feel like they're all like equally around the same time, so it doesn't really play much of a factor for me.
It doesn't play a factor for me.
I agree, especially because they're all kind of on the same standpoint type shit. Like if they all were inactive, we can't use that as an excuse for our vote because they're all kind of at the same level, if that makes sense.
So I guess for the next category, if we were really to break down I Love Money, I would say you should look at challenges, strategy, and the social game. So let's talk about challenges. So when it comes to the players and how they did in the competitions, Sheed won one of the first two paymasters of the merge. He won that challenge, but then he didn't win anything after that. But he did stay out of the box for a good portion of the game. Kiana didn't win anything the whole season and then won at the end. And then Crystal similarly didn't really win anything the first half of the game, but then at the end, she got that win with that advantage, and then she got those last two wins in this last round. So how does challenge wins incorporate into your guys' vote for each one of the finalists?
I feel like with the challenge win, since everyone's kind of on a different page, like they won when it was important. Like the girls, they won towards the end, she won in the beginning. So I feel like, once again, like everyone was saying, like even with the activity, that can't be a factor. I feel like for me, it can be a little bit of a factor because Crystal and Kiana won the most important ones. But it's like at the same time, it's like they're kind of once again around the same percentages. Like
it felt like both Kiana and Crystal didn't win until like the very end when they actually needed to. And I don't think she won anything. So I'm gonna be straight up with y'all. I mean, I don't know if this is me. I don't really care about comps at this moment. Like,
me
I think
either.
yeah,
and I feel like it shows more if you're not winning comps and you still make it far. So personally, that's why I'm kind of like, it doesn't really matter to me.
Like if it was like how Deja was like definitely like doing it from the rip, that's one thing. But like it felt like they just wait till the last second. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
yeah, that's why I was saying like they're kind of like on the same playing field. So like I was, hopefully that got across. I was basically saying like the same thing as you guys. Like it really shouldn't count because it's not like one has 5, one has 3, one has 2. Like they're really on the same playing field.
They're all still at the end anyway, so it doesn't really matter their numbers.
I feel like if we were to base it off of people who won when they needed to, it would be Crystal and Kiana.
I feel like it's just so interesting because, like we saying, they're all so even. It's like, what are we really about to base this decision on?
Listen,
like what's going on here? Because if they are quote unquote less inactive than everybody, kind of got the same kind of comp wins, and socially, I feel like they had specific ties to each other's groups, right? So I think it's really about to come down to who's actually in that final.
And it's also interesting because I feel like they all have the same amount of jury management too, where it's like I mean, I'm not saying anyone's like anyone, because I know for a fact I'm up in the air, but like I feel like she definitely like had his people like Juan, Deja, Shamrock, where I feel like Juan's actually undecided. I don't know. And then it feels like Kiana was like close with me and Lydia, and then somewhat Ganjo as well. And then it also feels like Crystal was really close with like Squid and Aaron. So I can't even say that like anyone's jury management was like anything to like
Yeah.
brag about either, because like it feels like all three of them just kind of stuck with their people and then
Yeah.
like left it alone. You know what I'm saying? So like I don't know.
I would have to say I'm not undecided. I know who I'm voting for if my girl's in that final two, point blank period. But if she's not, if I was going between like Sheet and Crystal, oof, I would probably say Crystal. Only because, not that, even though I was on the brunt end of her bullshit antics all fucking season, I respect playing the game like that and still making it as far as she did, especially with how many times her name was thrown out. I respect Sheet's game very much as well too. I love Sheet as a player. I love Sheet as a person. But yeah, I would have to say Crystal.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is like I feel like all three of them have like a good case because you have Crystal, who was public enemy from day one, literally from the first.
Bro, that's what gets me. Like
we were flaming Crystal to the ground, like everybody in here, and then she, who was like, we knew where he was, but he wasn't like so quiet. But he's kind of like that underdog. He lost every single body he was playing with, like back to back to back, but still managed to get through and not get taken out. And then you have Kiana, who again is another underdog, who was in the bottom back to back to back, but never got taken out because she wasn't seen as.
No, yeah. I think one thing I said about Sheed was that he got by not saying anyone in the juror's name, like barely. So I think that's fucking crazy.
Yeah. So like I said, I feel like it would depend on who's in the end, and like I don't know if they give speech how they present their game and what they've done, but
yeah,
I feel like all of them have a.
One thing I will give Crystal credit for, I feel like out of everyone, I think she's the only one to try to like weaponize being in the middle of like me and Aaron, and then like using us as like active shields. I just thought about that too. But She's game is really fun to watch too, because he definitely was down bad for a while, and I'm so glad to see him here. Also, there hasn't been a guy to win this damn game yet. I also want to see that at some point as well. So like I'm so open to like voting anyone right now. But it's fun.
So whenever I play games, I hear people talk about big move. What was your big move? What was the move they did? Now, I'm not a player that values big moves, but everyone values things differently. I'm someone that values making moves when it makes sense. So when it comes to what each of them did when they had the power to eliminate someone, you look at Sheed, who he used his power. He was kind of given a bad hand for who he wanted to eliminate, and he chose to get rid of Jared. When Kiana got her paymaster, out of nowhere, she takes out what you guys are saying is the front runner. And then Crystal, who had the most options to make her first paymaster, she kind of is again forced to take out two people that she's aligned with. And then she uses her other two paymasters to get out people that took out her allies. So besides their paymasters, do you guys feel like there were any big moves or moves that were directed by them to get people out besides their paymasters?
So I mean, I know Crystal was a part of that little group when we gave Lydia all of our coins. I don't know if we give her credit for that.
Wait,
I know
what?
When we all gave you coins.
Crystal was a part of that shit?
I said not Crystal, Kiana. Sorry.
Oh.
Do we give Crystal like credit for like is that a strategic move or a troll of her basically getting to do both videos and then like sabotaging everyone? How do people feel?
I guess you give credit because she fucking survived. I don't know how.
Like how the hell did that happen?
I was so dead set on saying her name every second after that.
Listen, I was at work and I was like, how the fuck did they let her do that?
It's not about let.
I have a question. And it's a question for Deja. importantly. So it's regarding your relationship with Crystal. Did you guys really make up, or were you just kind of like in face trying to make up with Crystal, like to everybody else?
It's very funny because who told me? Someone told me. It was actually who was it? I know Aaron said it to me, and then I think one of the boys said it to me. They were like, you should just make up with Crystal and just like kiki, and then you guys can come together and we can get out these targets. And I'm like, honestly, I wouldn't mind, but like, no, I don't know. But we never had a talk. We never had a chat. We never had anything. Like, I just really didn't care to like say anything about it anymore. So it seemed like we made up and it could have been gameplay, but it generally wasn't. Like, we just stopped with the bullshit.
No, that's what I wanted, because I wanted to know if that was an active move from Crystal and you to try to make sure you guys squabbled that, basically.
It was in the plan, but I didn't initiate it, so it never happened. And I don't want to speak on Aaron's side of her and Aaron's conversations, and also hers with Aaron's conversations if they had anything. But I mean, it probably was the same thing over there. I think it just never connected the middle. I don't know if Aaron relayed that message to Crystal and she chose not to reach out, but I just didn't, because I was just like not there.
Okay.
Was she the one who got that one extra vote the round that?
Yes.
So he was the one who played the extra vote when Squid's phone died. I mean, Keon's phone
on
died.
On Ganjo?
Yeah,
I think so.
that was she. Well, wow.
He was the one who. Oh, it wasn't.
Oh, it wasn't. Who was it?
Does that person want to reveal? It's up to them.
It was
Come on, y'all! You already in the jury.
It was Deasia, wasn't it?
Who was it?
It was Deasia. Miss, I don't want to play any time.
It's okay.
I hate to be a barrier of bad news. It wasn't me. I
Who
know
was
who
it?
it was, but it wasn't
Which one of y'all niggas was it?
Shamrock?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
What do you mean?
I don't
wasn't
know
me.
if he stepped out, and I'm so sorry, Shamrock. But yeah, Shamrock was one that had the extra vote.
Oh,
Like,
I
that
know.
night was not supposed to go that way, and then that just happened. I said, oh, that's why I voted for you, Ganjo. I was not going to lose that in the beginning.
No, I understood what was going on, but I knew it was a plan to throw one of our asses in there, right? It was just who was gonna go in.
Oh, okay. Well,
Mhm.
Do you guys
Thank
want
you for
to?
answering that.
Do you guys want to pick a finalist and then we focus just on that person, so that way maybe we'll have a better time at dissecting their game?
Kiana.
Okay. How about? Do you want to start with Kiana because Lydia said Kiana?
where?
Okay. So let's start. Okay, so let's start with Kiana. Okay.
I think Gonzo just
So.
did.
Oh, his phone may have crashed or something.
Oh.
Oh no, he's here. So Kiana, firstly, how do you guys think Kiana got to the end?
I think people really just didn't. I feel like they had the wrong read and they just did not look at her as a threat, and they just looked at me and Lydia, specifically Lydia, because she was there longer.
Yeah, keep going.
Instead of targeting Kiana, they targeted Lydia, where it's like, all right, Lydia is the one with the powers, and I think she plays more with her heart. But watching the interaction last round, it seems like Kiana was like the more stern one, and obviously she just won the competition as well. I think the fact that a lot of people, she didn't reach out to people, and people kind of felt like, hey, you should be reaching out to me instead of them reaching out to her. They felt like she was inactive, when in reality, me, her, and Lydia had like an alliance group. We were making sub alliances with like Ganjo and Tiana. We made the whole collective process thing. We were just like all like, they had the sub chat with Juan and all them. I feel like Kiana wasn't very involved with the strategy of me and Lydia, but since we were like the figureheads, everyone looked at us too instead of her, and she just got to like float in the background. But
Kiana and I also had a 101
that part
chat called Ganjiana, so that was
hey.
So we let that.
I think a lot of people didn't view her as her own person, especially finding once like whatever everybody knew we were friends in real life. I think everybody was like, okay, she's gonna do whatever Lydia does, but in reality, it was very a collective. We needed Kiana as a number, and we all would sit and speak about what we're gonna do. So Kiana played the game. She might not have been the forefront making the fucking like on the head of the snake, but she was definitely a big part in getting those moves to actually happen, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because without Kiana, we wouldn't have had a number. And it's good to have somebody in the game who you actually know is not gonna fuck you over. It's so calming. So yeah, I think I don't know. I think she played a good game.
Yeah, I was pro getting Kiana out as soon as possible because I was like, she's like literally a number, and she's like not saying it. Well, I did feel like she was going to do what y'all were going to do anyway, but I knew that like y'all were going to always stick together no matter what. Just like me and my group are going to stick together. So like, and I didn't want to come for Lydia at first. So I'm like, Kiana got to go. But
this is why I just want to say something really quick, because Juan, I fucking knew that. I knew you literally were not gonna sway from your group, yet you made me feel like you were going to and wanted to and did a few times, but it's fine. I think it was a good gameplay, I guess. It was just interesting because I mean, I feel like everybody knew where I was, like who I was fucking with. So I felt like everybody was on that type of time, but then there were a few like stranglers who like tried to make it seem that they're playing both sides. But
my thing is, you were mad that I didn't say Sheet or Shamrock. Like, when have I ever done that?
Because let's keep it on the 3 people. We'll say
yeah.
Last thing I wanted to say was she took Aaron out. Go ahead.
So Kiana was in the box 4 times this season. Of those times, she was never voted in. She was only in the box because she was dead last loser or at the final 4 by default. 2 of you, and I'm not going to include Lydia in this, because obviously you were not going to send her home, but 2 of you had the opportunity to send Kiana home. That would be Deasia and Aaron, and you both chose not to. Why did you guys choose to let Kiana stay? Was it because of something Kiana did, or because you wanted someone else to go?
I feel like it was the plan on our end was to get the head of the snake out. So we always had plans, and Juan was always the one like, get Kiana out, get Kiana. And I'm like, but if we get Isaiah out, then we could talk to them and they can move our way. So for me, it was never like, she was always still a number for us, but I feel like it definitely should have been taken. Maybe the game would have changed, but she was always a number in my head that could possibly happen if we could follow through with our plans. So I was like, I don't want to get rid of that.
Yeah, and I also think that it was because like maybe if we keep Kiana, Lydia would be like, oh, okay, maybe you do want to work with me because like you kept my friend here. So like we were thinking of it from that perspective too.
I said I kept your friend. I was like, I'm not here for y'all. I'm not here for y'all.
I mean, Tiana was also my friend, and y'all booted that bitch.
Is Tiana your homegirl?
Tiana is my homegirl.
Dylan, we had
you know what I mean.
But look,
I know what you mean.
I'm gonna be honest, Dylan, and this is honestly the biggest fact here. Whoever doesn't, so I feel like everybody in the final 3 has their set of people who probably have like locked votes. Is going to be that third person who gets eliminated. Whoever is backing that person, those people are really going to control who wins. If I'm gonna be honest, point blank. But yeah.
One more thing I want to say about Kiana.
Even though I'm not decided personally.
When I had leaving the game, I had 23 Coco coins. Okay. I saved all my Coco coins. I didn't put no bounties on nobody. I didn't write no anonymous messages. I tried to save all my shit up for a rainy day. Too bad I didn't take my dumb ass to the store and actually do something, but that's just on me, right? So I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to reward whoever was working with me. So I gave 22 tokens to Lydia. I did give 1 Coco coin to Kiana.
You are
just
funny.
Because she looked out for me. So I feel like that's like a point for her social game, because even though I was locked in with like Lydia, that was my final 2. I did throw Kiana at least 1 Coco coin to try to like show her my gratefulness for her working with me, if that makes sense. So that's all I wanted to say.
So when we talk about Kiana's social game, she was criticized for not really reaching out to people. A lot of you guys felt like she wasn't strategizing or communicating, but people are pointing out that she had alliances. It's just she was very particular on who she actually spoke to. And as I said earlier, she never was voted into the box. She only went into the box because she wasn't able to participate in some challenges. If she was, who knows, she might have went the whole season without going in the box. So what do you guys think of Kiana's social game?
I think all three of their social games are at the exact same level. Personally, they just talk to who they wanted to talk to. Like, I'm not. It's like I said, this is such a weird final three. I'm not high on comp wins or social game. Like, I'm just like, it's kind of coming down to vibes. It feels right now. Like,
Yeah.
Well, do you guys feel like, because how does Kiana and Lydia's relationship factor into your guys' perception of Kiana? Because again, it's been mentioned that a lot of you grouped Lydia and Kiana together because they were real life friends. So does Kiana getting to the end, having Lydia be there with her up until this last round, does that factor into your vote for or against Kiana in a positive way or a negative way?
Me personally, no, because like I feel like everyone figured that out like the first 2 weeks or whatever. So like, like everyone knew it. Like they should have did something about it by now, but no one ever did. So like,
so you think it's a positive that she and Lydia were able to get to that end game?
I think of like
neutral.
Big Brother 17, Liz and Julie. Everyone knew there's twins, but they just like left them in there. Like everyone knew Lydia and Kiana. Like no one was being fooled by like one person turned their phone off driving and the other person's in the back of the car. Like everyone knew that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't care.
My thing was, I feel like when it came down to like game situations, I don't think Kiana knew what was going on because she was like, "I'm in the bottom." Like it was stuff like, I'm like, "Girl, do you know what's going on?"
She was always a little.
She was just
ditzy.
high. That's all. She always knew what was going on. She was high.
But that's why I feel like,
yeah.
I don't know, because as much as people think that like she rode like or whatever, we were paired and whatever the case may be, she was very much doing her own shit, bringing game ideas to me. Obviously, you guys wouldn't know that type of stuff, but I'm just telling you guys, like she played the game just as much as me. I feel like that's why she's still here. If she really wasn't, she would have been booted. You know what I mean? Yeah, and I wouldn't have, and I also wasted a power on her, saving her, and I wouldn't have done that if I didn't really think she was gonna like play the game and make it far and actually like pick up her weight. Because you can only bring someone through the game so much. Like at the end of the day, many people knew we were friends in real life and still like, you know what I mean? I think it was just like an underdog story kind of thing. Like people just didn't really peep her as a threat.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I think she just talked to the people she wanted to. Because like I know there were times I reached out to Kiana a lot, like, and she just never responded. I was like, all right. So
yeah.
And I was like, Lydia, can you tell Kiana that we need to vote this way?
Like, and I would tell her, like, okay.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
Cameron, how are you feeling? You haven't said anything.
Also, Lydia, when you use that power,
I'm just getting over COVID, so I'm not really.
Like, I'm sorry.
It's like
when you save Kiana from.
That's all I'm here for.
Want to, but
emotional
like,
support.
I guess I'll save her.
What did y'all think of?
Like, it felt like you felt really reluctant to do that, and I was like,
Well, what did you guys think of Kiana when I felt like she had her Raven Ramsey moment? And if you don't know what I mean by that, in season 2, Raven was completely inactive for like the first 2 rounds, and then the one night that they threw her in the box, she came in there and was like, "Who said my name? Choke on a curling iron." Blah 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 blah. And then Jimmy decided to save her. Kiana kind of had that moment where she rolled in there and Jared was like, "I want you to go home," and put a bounty on her. And then Kiana went ahead and put a big ass bounty on Jared's head. And then that was kind of where Kiana started showing herself. And then when Kiana was in the box or was voted in the bottom, she did not back down on why she should stay. So what did you guys think of Kiana when she did have those moments where she showed her more feisty side?
I personally didn't mind the inactivity at the beginning because like we're on like what, day 50 something. That was like so long ago. Like personally, fucking Jimmy was still here when that was going on. And then it's like I thought Kiana being vocal, I respected it. I'm like, you come on, people.
I love a bitch who talks her shit. And Kiana didn't give a fuck, bro. Kiana did not give a single fuck.
What happened that one round with you, Deja? Because I remember you guys said something about like she was like popping off. I never
Oh
found
yeah,
out.
let's clear the air on that because I was gonna talk to Kiana separate because I didn't want anything to be misconstrued. So morally, Juan was there, and Juan, I would love for you to unmute so you could also double back on this. It was getting really hot. Juan asked her a question. They was going back and forth. I said, oh, okay. So then she was basically like saying it to me. She was like, yeah, and like do you think this? You think that? And I'm like, whoa. I never told you I thought like that. I literally, God's honest truth, anytime someone said Kiana's name, it was Juan. I never once was like Kiana. So when she's telling me this, I'm like, girl, like I never said your name once. So I'm like, so we're going back and forth and it's hot and it's heat. But I was saying in our jury chat was like, I wasn't coming at her really rude just to like, that's another story, but I wasn't coming at her really rude. So I was just trying to use that as an example, like, I'm not this feisty ass bitch.
That was me, Kiana, and who else?
It was just me, you, and Kiana. That was when, yeah. I don't know how it was just me, you, and Kiana, but it was just me, you, and Kiana in there. Because I think the third nominee wasn't there.
Because I remember that because like we just had a session where we were just like airing it out, like talking.
Yeah, everybody was just screaming. Everyone was just screaming.
What are we talking about?
Kiana, why are you here? You don't know what's going on. Like you show up, but you don't do shit. Like I was like, why should you stay? And then she was like, well, what the fuck are you talking about? I've been here. I've been participating. I'm like, you haven't done this. Like we were just airing it out. And it wasn't coming off as like anything. We were just literally, I was just telling her why I wanted her out of here because to me, she was useless at the time. So that's where I came from with all that. But again, she survived and she didn't get sent home anytime she was in the bottom. So I
completely agree. I think with me, she was just a little more mad that she just thought I was saying certain things when I wasn't. So I was trying to tell her, like, I'm not even saying your name. Like, you're not the one leaving today. Like, I promise. Oh, Tiana was there, but she was quiet.
Oh, yeah.
She was quiet. Yeah, Tiana was there, but she was quiet.
She didn't say a single word.
She didn't say nothing. So she was just looking side to side. I was laughing, then I had to start screaming. But I was just trying to clear the air with her, and it was just a really hot conversation.
Is there anything else that you got? Oh, let me ask this. So Kiana won that final 5 paymaster and voted Aaron out, which I guess could be the biggest move of the season potentially, because you guys are saying that she was the front runner. It kind of reminds me, Aaron, of when you voted out Taisha just one round earlier. So when she did that, did it change your guys' perspective of Kiana at all? And maybe lean towards voting for her to win?
If anything, that made me not want to vote her because I feel like I got the brunt of the Aaron vote. I literally got voted out because of it. But I think Kiana literally needed to win that paymaster. If she didn't, I probably would have gone home to vote before that. Who knows? Aaron really wanted that final 4 of girls. But yeah.
I think I kind of wish, because like after the fact when we were in the 3, we were like, yeah, we would have like thrown it to you, like we wanted that final 4 girls, and Kiana was like, seriously, I didn't know, I would have. And then after the fact, Kiana was like, oh, like I would have done it, like I wouldn't have voted Aaron out, I would have done shit. I kind of wished, like if she was gonna vote me out, like take that credit, yeah, like you just did that move, like own it, you know. But then she kind of discredits herself in the move by kind of pushing it off and being like, I wouldn't have done it if I had known, you know.
I think it's smart in that way only because she knew that the next vote coming up, someone was gonna get the shit for voting you out. She made them.
Go ahead. I'm sure everyone here has lied, even you in your winning season, Aaron. You definitely lied to Taisha, promised her final 2, and what you do.
No, yeah, valid.
I'm just saying, everybody here lied.
No, I think the move needed to happen. I just think, Aaron wanted to take more credit for it, and let's see if Kiana takes credit for it if she's in the final 2 type shit. Like,
yeah, I want to say this too, like if she says in her final speech, like, oh yeah, I just was like keeping myself safe for that, like go off, I just,
Yeah, y'all don't know how bad I wanted to do that with the egg, because I was like, if I win this egg challenge, Aaron is gone. Like my mouth is still swollen from that fucking spoon, and I wanted nothing more than to do that. But I don't know, like I don't know. I felt like I'm still trying to figure out like what led her to take you out and wait. She didn't even put Sheed in the bottom, so that kind of surprised me. I'm like, oh shit, like Sheed is safe. Like I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. Like
it's because I think in a way this is how we pictured it. Me and Kiana were locked in, always voting together. Aaron and Crystal are locked in. Sheed was the only floater in that situation. So I think in a way, me and Kiana's head were like, okay, we need to get either Aaron or Crystal out, or they're gonna get one of us out, and then we're really fucked. So I think Kiana very much knew what she was doing with that vote. She knew she was going to vote you out, Aaron. I think she watered that down to be saved by Crystal, which was clearly smart. And yeah.
Aaron, if you had one Aaron, who were you voting out?
I would have voted out Sheed.
I mean, I can confirm from my experiences when I was still there. I remember Aaron and Crystal wanted to take Lydia out. And Lydia and Kiana.
That was pre stuff.
Still, and then Lydia and Kiana wanted to take Aaron out. So I'm just like, all right, they both was like coming after each other and then work together because of necessity. Like it just made sense at the time. But Aaron, if you made it then you would have won. So I mean, I feel like if anyone took Aaron to the
end, yeah.
Is there anything else you guys wanted to talk about when it comes to Kiana, or should we move on?
Move on.
We can move on.
Last thing I want to ask is raise your hand if right now, out of the 3 people, you are most leaning to voting for Kiana. And this obviously doesn't lock you in, but raise your hand if you're voting for Kiana. That's where you're leaning.
My hand's gonna be up for all 3.
I wouldn't mind it because
you only gotta pick. You can only pick one. One of the 3.
And when I don't pick none of them.
Right. I'm as middle as it could be right now.
Yeah, because I can literally pick all 3 of them. Because
so right now there's 2. Interesting. All right. So the next person, let's talk about Sheed. So what do you guys think of Sheed's game?
I think Sheed is, in terms of jury management, in the best spot right now because he has a lot of friends here, as well as I feel like some other people wouldn't mind Sheed winning to have the first guy winner. So I think in terms of the 3 of them, I think Sheed's jury management is the best. He's very upfront about his intentions. If you spoke to him, he would give you a whole essay. He will over communicate, which is not bad. And he was very transparent with what he wanted to do in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I respect it. And I think his only downfall is for me at least, offering himself to get not eliminated twice. But B, I feel like in terms of all 3 of them, I feel like he's probably, if there's an underdog this season, it would be him. Like he was probably in the least power out of like a lot of the people in the cast. But I didn't mind it because I feel like he was always open to do something and he was adjustable to a degree. So I mean, I respect Sheed as a player personally.
Yeah, she was the type of person, he knew everything that was going on, even though he was never in the chat.
That's what I was gonna say.
She picked up everything. Like he was like, yeah, this is going on, these people. I'm like, oh shit, like I didn't think you knew, like you were realizing what's going on like this. But he had a good read on a lot of stuff, and I feel like he knew where everyone was, and he himself knew that he wasn't in a position to like control anything. So I feel like that's one of the reasons that he was just like, do what y'all got to do because you're gonna do it anyway. And putting himself up, like, yeah, he did that, but he still didn't get sent home. Just the same as like Kiana was always losing challenges in the bottom, but still didn't get sent home. So like, that's kind of where I am. I feel like I think he's played a good game. Like I said, he knew everything that was going on and he knew where he stood in the game. So yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree with everything Juan said. That's my brother. But I think he was really, really smart by saving me during circle night because I didn't know shit that was going on that night. I knew nothing. So when I hear my name, my mom's texting me like, you need to go back in the live. I'm like, whoa, what? So when he did that, I think that he knew what he had to do. And I think although, yeah, his people got out, he's still the only one there. So essentially, like, he made a smart move that night because he literally would talk to who he wanted to talk to. And just like Juan said, he knew everything. When it came down to Coco coins, he was like, I'll give you all my coins. Like, he was very, very much a good player.
One thing about Sheed and me is, like I said, in the night I went home, we did not have a strong game relationship, correct? So prior to that night, you know, we in a chat, like not me and she, but like I'm in a group chat and we trying to find out who to target, you know, and we knew it was throwing Shamrock in. And me knowing how the game will go, I'm like, okay, she under the radar. I'm not working with she. And I was at this point thinking I'm cool with Juan and Deja, right? So my only person I can throw in is she. So I'm telling them, like, listen, if we don't throw she in right now, nobody is going to be worried about she. I'm telling you, like, it's raps. He in the end. Like, I don't know if people want to confirm in that chat, but we was talking about, like, okay, I want to put she in, right? So that's why that night I had threw she name out, and he was like, oh no, let's throw Ganjo ass up in there. I got thrown in there, and then Aaron took me out. When I tell you she game was set up for him to get far, it's just, I need to decide if, you know, I saw it, nobody else did. So it's kind of like, what do I do here? You feel me? Like, do I like be bitter because nobody else did it? Or do I like give him the win basically? Or do I feel like I vote for him? Because I feel like being in that position is a very strong position. And I try to be in that position. So I identified he was in a position and nobody wanted to bite. And that's why he's in the final three. So she, I feel like, has played a good game enough for him to be not a target, be there enough, because he was inactive, but he was there. You feel me? Like, we seen she often, even when he was safe. So it's kind of just like, we knew she was playing the game. So was that his strategy? And he had to battle, you know, being at work or whatever. So, you know, we got to see how everybody falls in this situation.
And I think that came down, Gondo, to like when it was like we were so down to like voting with Ganjo, but then you came for Sheed and we were like, put Ganjo in. And I think that's how that whole thing happened. Like, we were just like, again, we were sticking to each other, me, Deja, Sheed, and Shamrock. We were just like, nope, we're not gonna let that happen. And I think that's when that extra vote got thrown on you. And then we were just like,
No, I mean, I understand. I probably had to go home because I had a big target on my back. But, you know, I just want to talk about what happened.
But,
yeah. No quorum. You feel me? I'm good.
So out of the people that are left, Sheed went the longest during the merge phase without really being voted into the box and without winning anything. He kind of just was there and people forgot about him for a little bit. So for you guys, when it comes to voting for who you want to win, does Sheed being not really a target, whereas we've said that the other two were more so targets, is that impressive to you guys that he went so long without being targeted? Or is it a con that he didn't really have to battle as much as maybe Kiana or Crystal might have?
I think it's kind of a good thing because like I said, with the group, like with me, Sheed, Shamrock, and Deja, like me, Deja, and Shamrock were always going to go up before Sheed was. But when it came to like Kiana, I feel like Kiana's name was out there too, like more than Sheed's, if that makes sense. So like, I just feel like he was able to like, I don't want to say hide behind us because that's kind of but you know what I mean. He was kind of able to put himself behind people like me, Deja, Ash, Shamrock, and kind of play the part of like, oh, I'm not a threat, but he still knew what was going on and was very much into it, even though it didn't seem like it at times. But I feel like that was a good thing.
And you literally took the words out of my mouth. That's what I was gonna say, because even if it wasn't his gameplay from the beginning, him saving me that night set him to the end, basically, because once he did that, I was like, oh yeah, I trust you, my whole heart, you my road dog, we in this forever, like we in this. So I feel like each of them had, like, Kiana had a target, Crystal had a target, but he was only one he kind of was smart enough to place himself behind, because all four of us were going up before him, and he always kind of made it where he was like so quiet at times where it was like he's just gonna raise his hand, and he wasn't so vocal till the end, where it made it kind of like where people genuinely weren't looking at him because he wasn't saying names in the beginning. And then also him being inactive helped him a bit too, because it kind of was like, okay, you don't talk to him, you don't talk to him. He's just the body there. But he did I think it was really smart for him to be in our group, because literally he would have never got put up. Like Ganjo, you're right. If you did voted him that night, everything would have been different. But all of his allies got taken out back to back to back, basically, and he's still the only one there.
Like I really do feel like all three of them have that same kind of trajectory where it's like Kiana had me and Lydia, and then we got voted out. And people are like, I'm really going to waste a paymaster on Kiana. She'd had Juan and Deja and Sharon. Are really going to waste a paymaster on Sheed. Aaron's there. Squizzer, are we going to waste a paymaster on Chris? You know, like it's that effect is like all over the board, in my opinion. But I feel like he, out of all three of them, was the best at staying under the radar. Because Crystal was like, her ass was always in the limelight, and then I think Kiana, she was arguing with too many motherfuckers, so it's like she knew to keep his mouth quiet when he needed to.
I mean, if we're looking at numbers, he had the most shields, right?
Yeah, if we do
Yeah,
that.
he did. That's what I was saying. Like in terms of jury management, he got most of his allies, or he was a part of the group, and most of the allies from that group is in here. That's what I'm saying. He probably has the best jury management out of the three of them right now.
I feel like if we want to talk about like how Sheed stands out between the three, I don't know if like the highlight would be threat management, because they all like what Isaiah was saying, they all three did threat management in their own way. Like I feel like Crystal's was more like pivoting from the position she kind of got herself into. I feel like Kiana's was just kind of not being taken seriously, but also playing into that and utilizing that, like not being seen as like a threat just off the rip. I think Sheeds was the fact that he knew his where he was standing, but he could have jumped the boat. He could have tried to make other alliances when his whole team got voted out and didn't, and that was smart, because doing so was able to keep him further under the radar than just to have jump ship later down the line, if that makes sense. So they all kind of pivoted in different ways. I think Sheed's strength that differentiates him from the other players is by kind of like utilizing his own strengths within like his charisma in a way.
And to give him credit, he was a split that last round, and definitely when he lost all his allies, I don't know if he initiated or Lydia initiated. She can talk about it if she wants, but whoever initiated, it doesn't matter. They made a new voting block and got y'all out, you out. So,
that's another thing too. Like he knew when he could make a move, and he did it when he needed to.
Is there any other points that we want to talk about with Sheed? So
Shamrock, I know you're sick, but would you like to add?
Sorry. No, of course you got me in the middle of emphysema, whatever. Sheed is Sheed was interesting. Very interesting player in the sense that a lot of good points are already been brought up, where people say Sheed, talk to you if she needed to talk to you and what she needed to talk to you about. But so the further a point back, when we talk about like things like Sheed knew how to manage his position just in this game in general. Like just even when we're in the teams round and he just shows up to 99 bottles and puts kind of he's putting effort in, but it's minimum effort, not to look threatening, and just, enough that, he's there. The talent show, he doesn't really do anything spectacular for the talent show, but he knows it's going to be enough to contribute to the team, but it's also not going to make him look like that big threat. So you're talking about a lot of under the radar things. Those are also the kind of moves I noticed with him, and I just wanted to point out in case I don't know if anyone else kind of picked up on any of that, but just my 2 cents.
He's a good strategic. He's a floater, like not in a bad way. Like floating, there's a difference between floating and coasting.
So So of the top three, how many of you are leaning right now towards voting for Sheed to be the winner?
Yeah, and the last thing that I want to say about Sheed is like I know he kind of chose who he talked to, but like I know Lydia clarified it with Kiana. Like he never was like a sit back. He never sat back. Like he also contributed to gameplay a lot. He was always there to help. He literally was like he was the first time he was saving me. So like he always was like, whatever you do, I'm here. So I feel like that also can attribute to his game because he was very loyal to like he was loyal. Like even if it was at his own expense, he was willing to be as loyal as he could be.
I would definitely consider voting him depending on who he sits next to, though.
And he was so loyal to the fact that even like with like his main alliance protecting him, we got ourselves out by doing that. So like,
I think all three of them had that, though.
True.
All three of them had like those people like to like look out for them. Like all three of their games are like honestly like
kind of
the same, just like different pathways.
It's a hard one. I feel like.
You know, yeah, I would be open to vote him. I like Sheed. I like all three of them.
Anything else you guys want to talk about with Sheed?
Lone the Crystal.
Okay.
Chaos Crystal.
So then we have Crystal. So Crystal had a pretty rocky start, to say the least. The first night, you guys were not a fan of her. Based on the first night, how many of you would have expected her to be in the final three? Really?
I mean, going through after the first night, I literally went to Crystal. I was like, "Hey, let's work together." Because like, I'm the type of person I want to work with the person who everyone is after, just because like, I don't know, it's fun. So from that time, I was just like, "Yeah, I don't know why everyone's after you, but let's work together." And I think that kind of contributed on why I kept Crystal that night. I was paymaster and she sabotaged our video because I was like, me and Crystal really been cool literally since the beginning. So like, yeah, I thought that she was going to make it far because like if you're a big target that early on and don't go home, then you're going to get forgotten about. Like people are going to forget about you. So
when her name was brought up at any point when voting for anyone to go into the box, someone may push Crystal, but then it was always met with no response. It was met with no, we won't do that.
I don't know if Aaron or Dylan remember this. When we got to watch the first live night and we weren't in the game yet, I made a bunch of notes of every single player who I wanted to draft. And both Kiana and Crystal had said, I didn't think they would both be here. I thought one of them would be here. I was like, Heather Lee Cameron's spot, which is like, you're so chaotic that no one's going to take you seriously and they're going to let you get to the end. And they just both happen to get there. But I feel like Crystal is definitely like in that HLC spot where it's like she just
Crystal Lee Cameron, Heather Lee Crystal.
Listen, like, but when she felt like it, she turned it the fuck on. Like that damn last challenge that got whoever the fuck here, Lydia. Like, I was like, so where was this the whole season? Like, so you're just like fucking around the whole time. And that's kind of my gripe with her. Here's my thing. It's like I'm okay with trolling, but the whole time it's like she played, but like to an extent, I didn't know she actually wanted to win for a majority of the season because I felt like until she was forced to, she was just playing just for Aaron to get to the end so Aaron could win. But I don't know. It's like, do I respect someone who is playing to get another person to win? And now that person's out, you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to try. Because it's like Kiana and Sheed at least were trying for themselves, where it feels like she was trying for Aaron, and then once Aaron's out, she's like, all right, now I'll actually try. I'm like the example, the sabotaging the fucking lip syncs. I'm like, why? And my fault. I got myself eliminated actually trying to save her ass, so that's completely on me. But it's like, I don't know. It's just like, I don't know how to feel about it. It feels like, would it be like a slap in the face to myself voting Crystal to win? Because it's like, it would be like, I wasted, how long have we been here for? Like 2 months? It feels like I would have wasted 2 months of my life on this if Crystal wins. I don't know how I feel about that. It's like, I love Crystal to death. I met her before she's a queen, But damn, I don't know if I feel like I feel like I'm gonna be like making a fool out of myself voting Crystal. Like like that's what she gives off. Like I don't know how to feel about that, but mess.
I I will say I feel like Crystal would have taken Aaron out at that final. Like I feel like she 100% would have. I don't feel like she wanted Aaron to win. I feel like she wanted to keep Aaron so she could take Aaron out just to be funny. And honestly, Isaiah, I was gonna take Crystal out until you were like, "Do squid."
I'm fully aware. I'm fully
Like
aware.
I was like, "That's random." So
I just didn't give a fuck at that point. I was driving. I wasn't focused. I was like, whatever. Now to give Crystal a lot of credit, I don't know if Aaron knew she was doing this. Crystal would leak a lot of shit that Aaron was saying to me, and then I'm sure she was leaking a lot of shit that I was saying to Aaron. So
Yeah,
she was
like
playing-
if Crystal like Crystal loved Isaiah, and Crystal's like literally my friend,
Yeah.
and she did not give a shit. Like she would
Yeah,
just
she
tell
doesn't.
everything to Isaiah, and it was like I
She'll
found
be
out
like,
later.
Aaron
Yeah.
wants to do this, and she told me not to tell you, but I'm gonna do it
Yeah,
anyway.
she would
Like,
just tell Isaiah. Like she was not that loyal to me.
yeah, she was a
She would
mess.
just do what she felt like.
So like, I don't know. She's a confusing player.
I will say this. Crystal, I believe, is the only person to survive being a big target early on. Like
Yeah.
everybody else was getting taken out. And I don't know what Crystal did. I don't know what little juju magic she had, but she came in and she said, okay, I was trolling y'all. I'm not that serious. Don't worry about me. And people literally stopped worrying about her. And then when the store opened, I believe she wiped her bounty count clean, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And once that happened, I'm pretty
People
sure she
stopped
was
giving a
locked
fuck.
in. People
Yeah.
didn't even care.
And
There
I
was
noticed
no
that.
incentives to go for her.
I was like, why the fuck is Kiana, Lydia, why is everyone like forgetting about Crystal? Like they were just cussing her ass out yesterday. Like, why are they like on mediation? Like, what happened? Like,
So we should give her credit.
yeah,
She was involved in the Process Collective. She was involved in a 3-person with Aaron and Squid. She had some kind of bond with you and Shamrock because she tried to save y'all a bunch of times.
yeah. She even told me if she would have picked those nominees that time that I wouldn't have been in there, which I kind of knew.
She was in the most alliance out of all 3 of them. Like she had a lot of alliances.
I didn't have an
Also,
alliance with Crystal, but I think she would have saved me.
Yeah, I also feel like Juan told me one time, and like I think you said like Crystal told me she was voting me out, and I just had to laugh. Who can do that in this game? Who can tell someone they're voting
She's
them
the
out and then you
HLC.
laugh?
She's in the HLC spot. No one took her seriously at all. So she can do whatever the fuck she wants. Like that's all it was. No one gave a fuck what she was doing. And then and then she just like coasted to the end, doing all this dumb shit.
No, literally, and I definitely am like the biggest one that's like I see why Isaiah saying like if I vote for her, it's gonna be like slap in the face because I had the opportunity to get her out. And I know, God, Joe, you were like, bitch, what the fuck are you doing? But like, I had the opportunity to get her out. So I feel like she did play really good gameplay because even me took it past the emotional level and I was thinking strategical. And I felt like she was so strategically there that I wanted to keep her. So I give her props on that because I'm very hard to change my mind. Like, it's very hard to change my mind. So in that moment in time, if I was given the option and I didn't vote her, that does speak for her as a player because that was her only opportunity to get out. She was never down there after that.
Honestly, I've never seen.
Oh, you're speaking about when Jimmy stole her onto your guys' team because you guys.
Yeah.
I literally gave Crystal.
Yeah, and Jimmy literally told us she was angry at us. She was angry. She said, "I just gave you Crystal." Yeah, I'm so sorry, Jimmy, if you're watching this, but she's like, "I just gave you Crystal on a silver platter, and you guys just fucked up. You fucked up. Yeah, I gave her on a silver platter." And I'm like, "I'm so sorry. I was just thinking about the teams. Like, I just wanted us to win finally." And she's like, "I understand, but come on now."
I've never seen a more perfect troll gameplay. And I don't think it would be a slap in the face to vote her because, like, she played the fuck out of the game. Like, it might have been to a point where it was annoying, but like, it worked in her favor every single round.
As a fellow troll with Ant Facts, I respected the trolling. So I got bored one night and I gave her money to get a challenge advantage that she used at the end. So I thought that was funny too. Like, She just didn't care. Like, she beat me in a Pokemon challenge. I was really upset about that. But
Like Shamrock, to confirm, if you would have won that challenge, because you would have won that if she didn't have the advantage, you were sending Aaron and Crystal home, correct? Or is that not true?
Jesus, put me on the spot. Wow.
I actually don't know what you would have done.
If it was which night? If it was the night that, because I would have won
the night that you went home, and odds are you would have been able to pick the bottom three because nobody made a decision.
No, I would have. Crystal would have been my number 2 choice. Lydia would have been my number 1 choice to send home at that point.
You would have kept Aaron?
I would have kept Aaron.
Wow.
Aaron was doing work. Aaron was protecting Shamrock. Like
it's crazy. Because we were trying to get Aaron on our side, and we literally, it was like an inch away. So the whole time on our side, we're like, if we get Aaron, we get Crystal, we get Script. That's what we're working towards. So when I left, that obviously was still in play. So Shamrock knew that he didn't have a connection, not going to speak for you, but assuming he didn't have a connection with Crystal and Squid. So by getting Aaron out, that wasn't going to do much for him that he needed that time.
That was
because then maybe I could have had Squid, and well, if Squid would have still been in the game, Squid, and then
like in the big alliance, we'd be like, let's get Shamrock out. Aaron's like, I don't know if I want to do that. Can I not?
I told you, Shamrock, I wasn't lying.
That's wild. So, like, I don't know. What's understated is the factions. I feel like that was happening in the game, right?
There's 3 factions.
It's 3 factions, and there's one person from each faction just chilling in the final three.
Three. Yeah.
I looked at it like this. I don't know if y'all will agree, but I looked at it as Aaron had her squad, and that was Squid and Crystal, correct? And I felt like Isaiah had his squad, which was Kiana, Tiana, and Lydia. And I feel like Deasia had her squad where it was Juan, Shamrock, and she. I ended up falling in the Isaiah situation because Isaiah was the only person who literally reached out.
I had this charted out too a long time
ago. It was crazy.
Don't lie, Gajo.
Listen, it was crazy how the shit got laid out where one of each person is in the final 3. That's all I'm saying. That's actually wild because I feel like they all played, they were all at the least threatening of each faction, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so that is crazy.
It was cute.
That's the exact chart that I wrote out. I just had to check it. That's funny. I put you in the middle though. I didn't put you in mine. But
you put me in the middle, period.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was trying to be. Okay.
Yeah. How does everyone feel about this damn lip sync? That's the real question. Out of curiosity. How y'all feel?
I'm not familiar with what really happened. Basically, Crystal had control over the videos.
So Dylan gave us less than 24 hours to do lip sync videos, and Crystal was going to make ours. I was going to do it, but I had work, and then I had to go.
And by the way, that lip sync that Jimmy Pink's team did that I showed you guys, that was also done in 24 hours.
We're not Jimmy Pink's team. I don't give a fuck. Anyways, we also have lives and jobs. We over here, I'm not talking about Jimmy. I love Jimmy. I'm talking about the rest of them jobbers. Anyway, we on our team let her do it because no one else knew how to edit it, and I could, but I had work. And then I guess Aaron was supposed to edit theirs, and then Aaron said, "Fuck it, let Crystal do it," because Aaron was going to throw the challenge for her team. So for the alliance, basically the Process Collective, she was like, "Let's throw it. I'm gonna let Crystal edit our video." And then I come on, and then this horrible ass video is on YouTube. And I was like, what the hell is going on?
Listen,
so that's Aaron and Crystal just trolling at that point.
That whole thing, like during the process, it was like, I was like, this doesn't feel right. Like, I was like, how's everyone's videos going? Like, do we need to blah, blah? And I was like, what if somehow Crystal fucks this up? Like, I literally thought that before the episode that night. I was like, I feel like something's going to happen. And guess what happened? Crystal fucked it up, and I knew that was going to happen, and I was almost going to do the video myself because I was like, no one's saying anything to me, like Aaron's not saying
and you
anything.
should have,
but I was just like, nah, because by the time I was going to do it, Dylan was like, "Oh, I got a video," and it was like sent, and I was like, "Oh."
My question is, y'all all knew that Aaron sabotaged the videos?
No, we didn't know until everyone knew.
Yeah,
Like,
so
we
I
didn't
think
know
that
anything.
last round, like the round before, the process collection like ran the like the vote. So I was like, oh, process collection's just gonna steamroll for a bit. And basically we thought that, well, I thought anyways, or me and Crystal thought too, like process collection just gonna win again, and then we'll just keep picking people off, and then it'll be the process collection that's left. So I remember asking like in my group, like, is our team throwing? And like they're kind of like, oh, like I don't know. People were like whatever about it. So then me and Crystal spoke, and we were like, well, if it doesn't matter, like, let's just like whatever about it. And like everyone got like really, because you specifically Juan and Lydia actually put in work, and like we kind of felt bad, but we were like, well, if it doesn't, we're already this far in, like we might as well just finish editing the video. And,
I thought it was funny. I did. I was like mad, but I was like, this shit is funny because I knew it was going to happen. But
I hate that Crystal's highlights are during these damn judging challenges. Like Dylan's mom basically giving Crystal a good score for doing the American what the fuck does she do? The Star Spangled Banner at work, which I'm like, how is this a good score? She's like, oh, I know Crystal. I'm gonna give her a high score. And then you got, for some reason, he let HLC judge a challenge, and then Juan
Crystal did not know. Like,
no, of course she didn't.
Know.
Of course not. Yeah. But I'm just saying, these judging challenges are very flawed. Take note, Dylan.
No, I feel like that was Squid to win. I was like, that's what they're trying to do. Get Squid that win.
I think watching as a viewer, I was really like, what the fuck? Like, I was actually like, I was disgusted with the team at first. Then I was like, this don't make no sense. And then when it all came out, I'm like, why is no one mad right now? Because Lydia ate up, Juan ate up. Like, I could see that it would have been an amazing video. So when Juan pulled out the win, I was like, oh yeah, that's what happens when you do slimy stuff.
And to be honest with you, if I had rational judges, which we did have rational judges, but 2 of them canceled. 1 of them unfortunately passed away the other day. Still not over that. So terrible. But I think that if the judges were more rational, that plan might have worked. I still cannot believe that they gave it. I mean, Juan, I saw your video, and you and Lydia were like the top toots of the night if your videos got shown correctly. But
the whole process
for you guys when they couldn't even see your guys' faces.
Yeah, the thought process me and Crystal had was like, well, how can basically me, Crystal, or Squid not win if we're the only ones lip singing? Because we edited everyone else out.
Challenge, bro. Like, child.
But then also,
you're still talking about it, so that's how I know
so it was
good
so
TV.
Better.
It was good TV. But that's when Isaiah, because we were still in the process collection, and Lydia was like, okay, I'm gonna vote in Crystal and Aaron, and we were like, we're still in that alliance.
Oh yeah, she was trying to. I told them wait 1 round before taking a shot at y'all, and they did it anyway. I'm like, all right,
nice.
I couldn't, like, I was at work, bro. But
I hear you.
Now Crystal, I don't know how to feel about Crystal's game. I don't know.
I just feel like she played the perfect troll game. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, if she doesn't want us to take her serious, how am I supposed to vote seriously here? When you
so
got
what you're saying
are
is
actually trying. You know what I'm saying? Like,
for her to win in your eyes, she would need to own her game at the end and be
not even that. I just have to look back at what's going on and be like,
she would need to be like, I actually was playing the game.
I don't even care about that. Like actions speak louder than the words.
Go ahead, Deasia.
I think you were in the comments, Isaiah, but if you guys peeped at the end when they did the vote ceremony and she was talking to Sheed, she literally said, I'm not sending you home. She's like, honestly, I'd be so down for a male winner. Like, I'll be so down. Like, I don't even really care about it.
Like, I don't know.
So when she said that, I was like, oh yeah, I don't got no decision on my vote because you just said you don't care. So let's make history. Let's make something work.
She said 2 things. She said, I would be down for a male winner. And then they also said, oh, me and Aaron were just going to throw so Kiana could win the game. I'm just like, do you really want to win this game? Or are you just fucking around?
I don't believe y'all would have thrown that comment. Like, I
don't think so either.
But
like, does Crystal actually want to win, or does she just not give a fuck? Like, that's what I want to know.
I mean, it was a good.
So she would need to address that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't want to feel like I wasted my time. this has not been the best season, but regardless, we're on the jury. We all spent a very unnecessary long amount of times here. A lot of people joined at work, called off a lot of social gatherings and all this shit, and lost a lot of sleep. Obviously, I would love to vote Crystal. I'm great friends with her, but she didn't actually give a fuck. I would feel like I wasted like 2 months doing this shit for no reason. So I'm just like,
She must have feel that she would.
that's what I'm saying. So I'm just like, I just have to like think, do I really want to like do that to myself? I don't know.
I feel like you also have to kind of like factor in of like what, you know, like my season, it was new blood. I was like the person in the final that was a newbie, right? And it's like this season, you just said it, like it wasn't that good. And it was like a troll season. Like a lot of people were lighthearted and friendly and fun. It's like if you think Crystal fits that description and you want to give a funny person a funny win, then like go all for that. If you don't, because you did take a lot of time and put a lot of effort into the game, then you might consider more deeply into the other potential winners, and that's completely valid. I just feel like we need to like take that into consideration as well. If this is a funny season, then maybe we can give a funny winner a funny win, but it's totally valid if you don't want to.
But is this really a funny season or is this a frustrating season? That's the real question.
Do you want to hear something really funny? So Crystal's the only person left that was originally from Jimmy's cabin, and had Crystal won the challenge that Kiana won, she would have had the same track record as Jimmy at the final at the last stages of the game as season 2 Jimmy, where she won the last 4 paymasters, because Crystal won the last 3 paymasters except for the one round that Kiana won. But if you add in Circle Night, where technically she was the winner, not really, because Juan won, but she was backwards the winner. She has the same wins as Jimmy, which I think is so ironic because Jimmy did not want her.
My only
she lived up to the Beast Cabin name, which is kind of funny.
My only other gripe with her, and this isn't her fault, this isn't Dylan's fault, this is anyone's fault. She knew a lot of people coming into this game too. She knew me, she knew Aaron, and she knew Squid. And all those people either made jury or something like that. Now, I don't think she had any automatic alliances either. And I think she hustled her way up here. So I'm not going to discredit her. But just like Lydia and Kiana as well, they knew one person too. She didn't know anybody. So I'm just like thinking. But you know, I'm open to all 3 of them right now. I like all 3 of them. What were you saying, Aaron?
Never mind.
I think the last point talk about with Crystal is kind of the same point to talk about with Kiana, where Kiana made the big move and voted Aaron out of the game when she was the front runner. With Crystal's paymasters, the first one, she was kind of forced to vote out 2 people that she was kind of aligned with. I guess Shamrock not as directly, but Squid she was aligned with directly. But then she used her last 2 paymasters to vote Juan out after he voted out. He basically was responsible for Squid going in the box and voted Lydia out. If Lydia was in the final 2 against either Sheed or Kiana, let's say, for example, would you guys have voted for Lydia to win?
100%.
I feel like Lydia and Aaron from, I don't know if it's the moment I left or what, but I feel like they were like the people to be, and Juan to a degree. I feel like those are the 3. It's funny. That's the same thing. 3 factions. I feel like those are like each figure had like, you know what I'm saying? Where it had like a person to be.
So what do you guys make of her moves? Because she ultimately, of the 3 people left, had to make the most vote outs.
I don't know what she thinks of her own moves.
Wait, one thing to say though too is like Crystal came in knowing people, but also like I knew Shamrock, I knew you, Isaiah, I had a connection with Demonica. It depends how you utilize the people, and they even still went out before her. So anyways, but yeah.
I mean, I voted out everybody I knew.
As you should.
Juan was a fucking menace. Like no, I don't actually think that's discrediting her. I don't even know why. But I just want to see, honestly, I think Dylan's right. I want to see if she owns her game and actually explains what she did And is she gonna say, "Oh, I just did it because I was bored. Fuck it, LOL, ha ha," or is she gonna be like, "This is a strategic move. I did this on purpose, and I got all you bitches out." That's
Listen,
gonna be like,
you can only troll so much when you showing up every night to the lives.
that's what I'm
You're actually
saying.
doing shit. You feel
I just
me?
want to
It
see
can
her
only
own
be
her
so
game.
much of a troll when you like are actually
Would you believe
active
it,
doing
though?
stuff.
I don't know.
I'm honestly like, I know Crystal. I don't even know if she would say that because I feel like she doesn't always say like if she's serious, it's like, are you sick? You know what I mean? Like that's just not her in a way.
Allegedly, she was going to take you out. Allegedly, she was going to take you to the end. Allegedly, she was going to put. She wants she to win. Allegedly, she wants Kiana to win. She wants a lot of things. That's why I'm just like, what is the truth? Like, what is your game? Like, you're just saying a lot of shit. I don't know where her game is. That's all. Like, it's random.
So it looks like the way that you guys would categorize Crystal is
Random.
a question mark.
Yeah. I would like to vote her. I just don't know what her game is at all.
So of the 3 people left, who would vote for Crystal to win over the other 2?
I'm like this for all 3.
Yeah, period. I didn't vote for anybody, so just so you know.
So let's play pretendsies. Let's say that this is a final 3 and you guys have to vote for a winner. I want everyone to DM me who you would vote for between these 3.
You're sick.
Sheed, Kiana, or Aaron to win. Or not Aaron. Oh my gosh. Sheed, Kiana, or Crystal to win.
Is everyone even here?
That's the Freudian slip.
There's 6 of you here, so it still
okay.
will give a pretty good idea.
I don't know.
I feel like she's gonna win. If I'm gonna be honest with you.
Oh, you
You're
mean
not-
like DM you on Skype or DM you on Zoom?
It's gonna be she.
Either or.
Okay. We're voting our pretend winner.
Pretend winner.
Okay.
And when Dylan
My phone has been going off all day.
Well, because you just interviewed Big Brother Superstar.
Yeah, no, that's why.
All the clout chasers are coming out.
I didn't even need that person who left me on red, by the way. So I'm just saying.
Don't worry
Oh
about
my
it.
god.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Sharon Thorpe even retweeted us.
So does anybody have a favorite memory from this season?
Ant Facts was a fun time.
Getting eliminated. No.
Okay.
So as of right now, the votes would lie like this. Isaiah and Ganja. I'm also gonna let me also throw in.
So what's the
Lydia.
point of voting in DMs if you're
I'm
just
pretty sure I know how Lydia would vote too.
This guy.
So as of right now, Isaiah, Gonjo, and Lydia would vote for Kiana to win.
Oh, is Tiana still a factor too? I forgot about
Yeah,
her.
but I don't know who she would vote for.
She's a
Juan,
wild card.
Shamrock, and Deasia would vote for Sheed, and Squid and Aaron would vote for Crystal. So it looks like going into this,
I did
we
not
are-
type Crystal's name.
you voted. You put Tyler, but girl, I know what your answer is. So, so it looks like going into this, you guys are pretty split, and who gets out
Tiana's
of
the
third?
deciding vote. We love to see
Kiana's
it.
the deciding vote.
And whoever gets eliminated.
I feel like I heard her say she wanted to vote for Kiana to win or Crystal. I don't remember. I'd need to really look back.
She
But
said if
it's-
Kiana is there, she would go for Kiana.
So it looks like going into this, Kiana has the edge with a 4-3-2 vote. So it really is anyone's game because the jury speeches could change it, and who goes out top 3 could really change it. So before we end the jury roundtable, is there anything else that you guys want to add in on this group of 3, or want to get off your chest?
Shout out to them. Shout out to them for being final 3. They
Yeah,
balled out. They did their thing.
They did.
Inactive or not. Okay. They there and we are not.
Listen,
And they are fighting for the crown. So
when the
shout out
season
to them.
ends, Dylan's gonna go on Instagram Live or Facebook Live and talk so much shit about this season and everyone out there. So I want to like enjoy the kumbaya as it is, because right when it ends, he's gonna be like, "This season fucking sucked." All the
No,
fucking
I didn't
players
think
sucked.
this. I
They
didn't
fucked
think this
this
season.
season. Where's the season ranking for you right now, Dylan?
Season 1 is last place.
Oh, period.
All Star is the second last. Then season 6, You guys are above season 6, is where I'd say this is. So what is that? 6?
Slightly
7?
above, below average.
We not last.
I think
I didn't think the season was terrible. I thought you guys had good moments.
Yeah.
we tried.
I like this cast. I will say, this is probably my favorite cast out of all of them I played.
It's a good cast.
No toxic ass fucking people being racist and shit.
I
or
love them.
problematic.
No, I'm not gonna talk shit when the season's over. I thought the season was pretty good. I think the only thing that held this season back was all the inactives in the
No,
beginning.
the beginning half was atrocious.
and all the trolls we had on the outside harassing us. So, but
Okay.
Last thing I have to add, if you're watching Sheet, I love you so much. I love you so much.
Thank you, Prod and Dylan, for hosting this season.
Thank you, V.
You're amazing. Shout out to you all.
V Dang, the best production member out there.
I think my last question to y'all is who do y'all think is going to be third place? Who do you think is going to lose the challenge?
Kiana.
Well, you don't know. You
First
don't know.
I don't
Because
know.
Kiana's
And-
been stepping it up.
It's
And-
only because I do not know if she's going to be able to do whatever mental portion of the competitions that he's going to ask. That's why.
And just so you guys know,
I don't
there
think she's
are-
even gonna know she's gonna be there. So
there's
Hey,
different
not
parts
too
to the-
much. Not too much.
There's different parts to the challenge, and there's mental parts, there's physical parts.
She's going to eat the physical part up.
she's
It's all about not being last. And who do you guys think will win the challenge and get to
Crystal.
eliminate a juror?
Crystal's going to at
Crystal.
least win one of them.
I think it's gonna be Sheed.
That could be she.
I think if it's especially if
Yeah, I
it is
muted
like,
my mic, but he's a beast. He's a beast, y'all.
The
Crystal's
only
the
part I
secret.
fear is watching that mental competition the other night. Crystal had them in the dirt. That's why I'm just like, I don't know. Like he made Lydia and Kiana and she look like they ain't know nothing about the game. So I'm like, you really got like I didn't even know she even knew all that shit. I'm like, damn.
The good thing about the other person in the final two is they only got to beat the third place person.
Listen,
that was a frustrating one to watch.
listen. Last season they was down bad, bro. So
It's significantly easier this time.
good. Cause that was crazy.
Well, I think that's pretty much it. So I guess we'll see you guys on finale night on Sunday, where we will crown a winner. Who will it be? Will it be Crystal? Will it be Kiana? Or will it be Sheed? So jurors, you are to report back on Sunday for jury duty, where each of you will have one final chance to address the finalists. You'll be able to ask one question. I'll allow one for each finalist. So think about what you want to say to the finalists on Sunday. That will be your last chance to get an opportunity to gauge who you think deserves to be the winner. They'll also be giving you guys final speeches, both opening and closing speeches. So you guys will hopefully have plenty of information. And hopefully tonight was a little enlightening on maybe making you guys have more of a decision made. So until then, audience, I will see you on Sunday for the finale of I Love Money 11. Thank you all for watching. And until then, signing off. I'm not going to play music tonight.